To this now, the Swartland Municipality is blaming the Water and Sanitation Department for the latest flooding crisis that has left hundreds of residents homeless. The municipality says it warned the department of the risks in opening the fourth dam's spillways. Investigations into the dam failure continues. For a reaction on this, I'm joined now by Wally Ramokopa, Water and Sanitation Dam Safety Regulation Director. Wally, a very good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. Apparently, you are to blame for this.
What transpired, maybe if I can give a bit of perspective, is that when we arrived at the dam, immediately after the three dams had failed, we inspected the area and we also inspected the fourth dam, which is the dam where we released some of the water to try and lower the water level there. We discovered that the dam actually was not safe because it had already suffered a partial failure on the downstream slope. And we made a decision to actually lower the water level because had that dam failed, there was going to be a lot of lives that were going to be lost because the dam breach analysis that we conducted while we were assessing the situation indicated that the water would reach the town of Riverlands in less than 29 minutes. And that would have been more devastating than having to release the water in the dam, in the fourth dam. That is the reason that we took as a department to mitigate that risk.
But then the municipality says they actually warned you guys about the risks of what you were going to do. Are you saying that you did the right and best thing? End of the story, whatever they are saying.
Yes, we did have a meeting with the municipality prior to that when we were actually explaining to them the reason why we had to do that. And the intention by the department was always to release the water at a very steady level, not in a quick way as it happened. Unfortunately, when we released the water through the spillway that was already created when the other three dams failed, the water eroded the spillway channel, which is very, very sandy. And that erosion widened the spillway and also changed the slope, which made the water to actually flow quite quickly than anticipated. But the intention was always to draw the water level in a steady pace.
But did things happen the way you had intended them to happen?
Not entirely. As I've just explained, that the idea was to draw the water level at least 1 meter per day. However, the water that got released more than 3 meters in a very short period of time, it is what actually caused what I can refer to as the flash floods that hampered the mopping up operation that is being carried on by the municipality. However, the decision to water the level, to release the water, has always been to safeguard the lives of the people living downstream, and it was the best decision. Because as a department, we had to classify the dam in terms of the regulations, and the likelihood of failure was there already because the dam had already started to fail. There are two structural damages already downstream of that dam which had not failed. And that dam is storing more than 200 million liters of water. So the disaster that occurred on the 8th did not hamper the fourth dam, which is the one that we had to use water from, so that we avoid a secondary disaster that will have befallen the people of
But if you're saying things did not go entirely according to a plan, do you then take responsibility for at least part?
Yes, we do take some responsibility, especially when it comes to the mopping up operations that got impact, because the municipality had already started with the mopping up operations in the town. However, the damage that was caused in the houses, that happened prior to the release of water in Dam 4 because of the failure of the other dams that failed on the 8th of August.
Who then is going to take responsibility for the losses that the community suffered if you are at least partially to blame?
Yes, the responsibility that I'm referring to is with regards to the mopping up in the town, because no loss of life or any injuries was caused by the release of water in the fourth dam. However, when it comes to the houses that were damaged and infrastructure, the department is busy finalizing the report which Minister Majudina directed that we do, albeit we were given the extension of about 7 days to complete that report. And that report, including the findings, will be able to indicate who is the owner of the dam and the responsibility that must be taken as per the legislation.
Okay. Now, what I understand that the report was supposed to be, or the directive was that it should be completed within 7 days, and you guys asked for an extension. In other words, my question then is, what is it that you can only do in 14 days and not 7? What still needs to happen? Or how did you arrive at that conclusion that you can't complete the report within 7 days?
Yes, the reason being that when we arrived on the top in Riversend, we actually undertook other investigations, inspections in other dams, and we actually uncovered that there were other dams in the municipality that were on the verge of failure. I'm referring to one of the other ones, it's in Malmesbury, which the department had to mobilize the construction team to mitigate that risk of those failures, including the mitigation that we did at Dam 4. So all those interventions resulted in the delay in us completing all the investigation and all the information that we had to gather in time. And then we requested Minister Majudina for an extension because we had to do other things to mitigate the risk. And then the report will then be compiled and be released within 14 days from the date of the minister's visit to the area.
Before the crisis hit the very first time, how appraised was the department about the state and condition of all 4 dams?
All the 4 dams were not registered with the department's Dam Safety Regulations Office, which is the office that is responsible for regulating the safety of all dams in the country. So that is forming part of the investigation as to why that was not done, because we had never actually regulated in the 4 dams that failed as a division that regulates the safety of dams. However, there may be a possibility that the department had the dams registered in the other databases, but the one for dam safety regulations did not have the dams in the system. So we did not have any information as far as the condition of the dam is concerned.
So whose responsibility is it? What does the law say about any dam found in the country? Is there not supposed to be a tight regime that ensures that everyone is playing according to the law, according to the rules?
Yes, that is legislated in terms of the National Water Act, and it's the responsibility of every dam owner that owns a dam that meets the certain requirements. That is a dam with a safety risk, which is more than 5 meters and storing more than 50 megaliters of water. That dam owner must register the dam with the Department of Water and Sanitation within 120 days of that dam being capable of being classified as a dam with a safety risk. Currently, we are also investigating who is the owner of the property and the responsibility that must have been done. And that will form part of the recommendations or the findings in the report that will be released.
Where people don't do things according to the law, what do you as a department have in place to make sure that they are compliant, and where they refuse to comply for whatever reason, there are consequences for them?
Yes, there are consequences. We have in the department the enforcement unit, which is the Blue Scorpions. And there are several remedies, including enforcement-related actions such as administrative, civil, or even criminal cases in the case of non-adherence to the legislation. So the report will also make some recommendations as to what must follow.
And as things stand, you reckon you'll be able to meet the deadline, including, of course, the extension that you asked for?
Yes, well, we're working hard around the clock to try and finalize the report before the deadline that we have requested Minister to extend.
Wally Ramokopa, thank you very much for your time. He's Water and Sanitation Dam Safety Regulation Director with the National Department of Water Affairs.